Hello, welcome to another exciting demo of RIPEstat. My name is Christian Teuschl. I'm one of the developers behind RIPEstat. And so this is not our first demo, and most of you are quite familiar with how the demo is scheduled and how we go on. So I think we can skip the intro in a way and just skim it in a way. So just as a rough overview, we're going to start with an introduction, as we do always. Afterwards, a very short recap of the idea behind RIPEstat, and then we go through the key features we worked on in the last 8 weeks, because last month we skipped the demo because of the holiday season. And afterwards, we're gonna have a live demo where we present the features live, and then we go as usual to the feedback section, so where you can take part. Okay, all right. As general guidelines, we would like to have very active discussion and feedback session at the end of the demo. But there is also the possibility that you send your question during the demo. For this, you should use the Q&A feature, which is in the WebEx panel. And after you ask for a question, we try to respond as soon as possible. Okay, RIPEstat. So I think all of you are familiar with the idea behind RIPEstat. So for the ones that are not, RIPEstat should be an interface, a query interface to all the internet data, all the internet data resources. For example, the registry data, the routing data, also blacklist, geolocation data, and it should be a one-stop shop for all your information needs. All right. Then one word about the public demos. So usually we schedule the demos every 4 weeks to present what we have worked on. So basically, the idea behind that is that our users can play an active role in the development, because during the demo, or actually after the live demo, you can provide us with feedback. You can comment on the features we implemented and steer in a way the development of the application. Okay, all right. So that takes us to the next section, which is just a small recap or summary of the key features we implemented. So one thing we were working on were the plugins. We worked on Whois view, on the Whois view, number of prefixes, prefix size distribution, also the looking glass, visibility, geolocation was totally redone in a way, and AS path length. And we also got a new plugin, which is the routing history for prefixes. And another key point was working on the raw data and performance, because yeah, we still know that we have some kind of performance issues, and that was one of the big points we worked on. So actually, I'm skipping the details on the plugins, because I think it makes more sense if we just go through them during the live demo. And so I go on with the raw data. So as you know, we also provide some kind of API for the raw data. So you can get the raw data which we are using for each of the views to further process the data. So you get the data, process it, and make something out of it. As a helpful enhancement for the raw data API, we tried to add some a more descriptive format for the raw data. So in this way, you find a key value structure, which explains what are the values about. So that's still a work in progress. So not all of the views implemented the enhancement. And there's another point. So far, we haven't versioned the API, so it might change in the future. But this is a thing we are constantly working on, and we will keep you posted about that, how the stability of the raw data is going to proceed. Okay, performance. Many people complained about the performance, and I mean that was a big issue in the past. We hope that we fix the problem by first of all introducing caching. So when we process the data, we store it. I mean, we are using a memcache backend for that, and the next time someone wants to fetch the same data, it's in a way instant. So I think that really helps, especially on popular resources, to speed up the performance of RIPEstat. Then another point concerning the performance was that geolocation was and is still a little bit too slow. We switched it to a faster backend. Hopefully that you will feel the performance increase. And something we expect in the future is that we build the underlying hardware, which is RIPEstat is running on, to move it away from a VM towards a cluster solution. So and we hope that this will actually gain us a lot of performance speeds. Okay, then we also fixed a lot of bugs. So in a way, this is the part where we try to work on the stability of the system. I mean, bug fixes is in a way making the system more stable. I don't really want to go through the list of bug fixes. I mean, I think we have the changelog for details. So if you're interested in specific bug fixes, please visit the changelog. It's on the bottom of the page. But I want to mark one bug fix that was the memory leak, which was kind of nasty because I mean memory leaks are usually quite nasty, but we experienced this one during a training where we suddenly saw that the performance, the responsibility of the system totally decreased, and that was because too much memory was consumed. But that should be fixed right now, and I think that's also a big performance improvement. I mean, you could count it as a performance improvement. Okay, the next thing will be the live demo. So let me just switch to my browser, and we're gonna start out with an AS. So I'm gonna choose this one. Okay, well, so one thing we changed or we worked on was for the who's view. Sometimes we had some kind of parsing errors. That was fixed. So right now I try to go through all the plugins, through all the views more quickly. So I mean, I think that can also be recapped in the changelog. So then we have the number of prefixes that was in a way announced by ES, and also the next view where we changed the algorithm for the input plugin, and I think we got a performance increase of about 10 10%, actually 10 times, which makes a difference. So that's one change. Another change since the last demo was on the AS path length. So right now on the radar chart, you can see the hop count. So the last one is 4. And we also fixed the bug with which resulted in a 0 path length. So if you ever encountered this bug, that should be fixed. Okay, for the visibility, we added an indicator. You can see it in the middle of the box. That's the yellow box. Gives you an impression about the global aggregated visibility. So in this case, for AS Quad 3, we have a global visibility of 67. Okay. Another change happened to the geolocation. As you might see right now, we have 2 geolocation plugins. One is the old one is the new one. The main difference on the new one compared to the old one is that we do some aggregation on country level. Because the problem was for big ESs, I mean, we had too many markers on the map, which rendered the map, the blue map, in a way totally unusable. It was very slow. So with this change, the map works as expected in a way. And we also included some corner cases. For example, space that is used for anonymous proxy or a satellite provider are also in the map if it happens that some of the prefixes are used for one of the corner cases. Okay, then we added some details about the prefixes. I mean, basically, the geolocation is based on the prefixes and AS announcers. So if you want to get more details about the prefixes or some kind of relation between the geolocation and the prefixes, there is a link which reveals a table of all the prefixes that this AS announces, plus the information of how much is the amount of the total IPv4 space for this prefix, plus the country distribution. I mean, I think that's a lot of information for right now. If you want to dig into more details, I would like to send you to the methodology, which gives a pretty good idea about what it's about, and we really try to make it as detailed as possible. Okay, then I think the next step will be to show some of the changes that we did to a prefix. So I'm gonna switch to a prefix. So one of the new plugins is the AS routing history. So you can see which AS announced a prefix over time. So I mean, that's nothing new. We already had it for ASs. So it shows you which prefixes were announced by this AS over time. So yeah. Another change we did to the user interface to give more information is that we included the amount of data that is transferred for a view. So in the bottom line of the box, you can see next to the time that the processing took, the amount of data that is transferred. So in this case, it's around 130 kilobits. Okay, another change happened to the, or which was included at the bottom of the page, which shows you the timestamp when the query was conducted. I mean, this can be helpful if you, for example, do a query and want to see or want to compare when the query was rendered. I mean, that might be handy if you give us some error reports and if you include the timestamp, so we know exactly when the query was rendered. All right. Okay, that's about all the changes we did to the working system, to the existing system, and that brings me back to the presentation. But before we go on with the feedback session, I would like to have Giordano having some words about the mobile application. So, Giordano, please.
Can you hear me now? Good. Good morning, everyone. I'm Giovanni Barozzo, and I'm working as a trainee in the Research and Development Department. As you might already know, our team is currently working on exporting the plugins view that show on the website to produce a mobile application for RIPEstat that will leverage as much as possible features and capability of mobile devices like smartphones and any Android device. Sorry. This app is based on a public REST API, our REST API, that allows the user to fetch the raw data that we are using to draw our charts in different formats like JSON and YAML. With respect to the previous demo, some major improvements have been done. In particular, some new plugins have been developed, like the Who is Matches research information plugin for both ASs and prefixes, and the originated prefixes plugin for ASs. In addition to the iPhone version, an iPhone version has been developed as well. And it has to be noticed that the current app still remains, in some senses, a prototype, because many changes will be probably applied after the testing phase that is going to start soon. This is the main window of the application, which on the iPad shows at the same time both the left-hand control pane, where you can submit your queries by means of a textual field, and where you can select the button corresponding to the plugin you are interested in. When you select it in the right-hand content pane, you will see charts and diagrams that show the information retrieved by means of the API. In the iPhone version, instead, the screen can be shared by both these two panes. These two panels at the same time, and therefore the content pane will enter and exit the screen on demand. The following are the plugins implemented so far. We have 3 new plugins, and while all the other plugins have just had minor improvements. This is the new resource information plugin. I'm going through all the plugins, but I will not go into details because we don't have enough time. This new plugin shows the general information about AS number and prefixes. For example, I can just say, it tells you if a prefix is not announced, like here, announced false. If the prefix is not announced, we also try to find less specific and more specific prefixes that you can view selecting the button on the tab bar. So actually we are showing some information that is somehow hidden in the raw data as soon as possible when we can really do it. The Who is Matches plugin is also a new plugin that shows obviously who is information for these AS or prefix and that are queried from DB or GRS data source. Okay, here. The geolocation plugin is not a new plugin. It presents the user with a map view showing the current geographical location of prefixes announced by DCS. And as a minor improvement, now you can click on each prefix and just write the launcher the corresponding value. The geo-distribution plugin, again, is not a new plugin. It shows a schematic map that describes the number of unanswered prefixes per country. And you can, of course, see these prefixes and launch a query. Originally, Prefixes is a new plugin, and it actually shows you the prefixes, the list of IPv4 and IPv6 prefixes announced by the QDS. In this case, data comes from information collected by this. Okay, Prefix Evolution is a plugin that shows the displays as a function of time the evolution of the number of prefixes announced by this AES. In respect to the last 8 days. You can zoom and zoom the graph and access the actual numeric value, the quantitative information. Prefix distribution is mainly a data chart. You can see the distribution between the portion of IPv4 and IPv6 phase of this AES and some more information about the prefix in that phase, in the V4 and V6 phase. And finally, the ISTAS length is not new. It's just a slightly reviewed version of the previous plugin that displays a rather spider chart showing the minimum, average, and average representing ISTAS length. We are currently in the process of submitting the application to the Apple review process. We hope to do this by the end of this week. So we just hope that we will be able to have the application available on the store as soon as possible. Okay, that's all for me. See you next demo, and thanks for your attention.
All right, welcome back. Okay, thanks, Giordano. That brings us to the next last section, the feedback section. So before we're gonna start with your questions and our answers and your feedback, I want to give you some ideas about what we could talk about. First of all, to get more feedback from the users, we thought about maybe introducing something like a Facebook like button. So without any hassle, you just give us feedback on what plugins are more useful for you. And in this direction, we also thought about maybe introducing some kind of user profiles. Because, I mean, from our perspective, there might be some rough difference between administrators and researchers. Researchers might be more interested in historical data and aggregation about historical data, whereas administrators might be only interested in the time of being situation, so that they get the information about how's the status right now about the resource. And I mean, this is something we could implement. What we got from the training feedback was that some people think of that the output plugin, or actually the interfaces for some of our views, are too complex. So we would like to have more feedback on that, so that we can schedule more time working on reducing the complexity, or, well, spend the time on something different. Then one thing about sharing data. I mean, one introduced thing about RIPEstat was that it should be easy to share data. And if you go into details, I mean, there might be two ways to share data. The one way is to customize the page and create something like a report and then share the link. Another way would be that you are able to include the views on your own page. I mean, these are in a way two different things, and well, we would like to hear your opinion about which things you prefer, so we can start to work on that. That brings me to the open mic section. So right now we have we open the mic for your questions. So again, you can still use the chat feature on WebEx to post your questions, or if you press the microphone button in the WebEx panel, just wait until you get the microphone, and then you can speak. And preferably, we would like to have an external microphone. And I mean, for example, an iPhone headset usually does the trick. So I would say, yeah, right now we open the demo for your questions. One, hi friends. No, okay, we're gonna skip this one. And well, I think we can also save the explaining the feedback channels. I mean, they are pretty well known. I think that for me that concludes the demo. But before we're gonna stop the presentation, Robert will introduce our new community builder. So Robert, please, and see you maybe on the next demo. Goodbye.
Okay, yes, so this is just one service announcement. And some of you might have seen that we have been looking for a community builder to support us with the promotion of RIPEstat and getting user feedback and getting people involved. Also with the further enhancements of TTM, DNS, MON, RIPE Atlas, and the other services that we provide in terms of information services. And I'm happy to announce that Vesna Manojlovic is the person who we have found. She used to be a trainer for RIPE and CC, and now she's stepping up in this role, and we just wanted to welcome her in our team. And that's about it for today. Thank you for everyone for being here, and see you next time.